Willie D Live.
What's up, family? One of the biggest trending cases out right now is that of 18-year-old Nolan Wells, who was found dead 2 days after celebrating Independence Day with his white friends. And I specify white friends because race did play a factor in his death. That's right. I said I ain't got no reservations whatsoever about saying it. I'm going to call a strike and a ball. Yeah, I've seen enough evidence. I've seen enough circumstances to draw an intelligent conclusion about this whole case. So, Nolan's parents have spoken out. Other family members have spoken out. His lawyer has spoken out. His so-called friends have spoken out, and his real friends have spoken out. Now, his football coach from high school is speaking out. He spent a lot of time with Nolan, so he knows a little bit about him. Let's check it out. This was on TMZ today. His name is Lampley. His last name is Lampley. Tracy Lampley is his name. Check it out.
See, what his parents think happened here? Do they believe this was just an unfortunate accident, tragedy, or that it's something more sinister?
I was in Ocean Springs when it happened, and I was still in disbelief when I got the news that Nolan was missing. So when I got all the details surrounding the case, that they told me he was out at Horn Island, and he came up missing or whatnot. I talked with his dad, and we just had a conversation that was kind of after the fact when they had found his body, because I was just giving the family their respect that they deserve, and when everything first took place. But I was sharing all the detail that the family was sharing, just putting the word out there, and just so everybody could be on notice and everybody be paying attention.
When you say you talked to the dad, did he kind of accept this as an accident and tragedy, or was he more suspicious?
Well, no, he was more so just searching for answers right now, because it had just happened and there was a lot of questions still unanswered.
Usually high school football stars have a pretty close relationship with their coaches. What can you tell us about just Nolan as a human being?
Nolan was a great young man, with a big personality. Everybody gravitated to Nolan because of his smile. He just wanted everybody to be happy, and he was a joy to coach, a joy to be around. To sum Nolan up, long story short, Nolan is a guy that I would let date my daughter.
I mean, there were rumblings that he may have gotten into an argument, that there might have been a confrontation or something like that. I mean, was he a guy who would stand up, where, his hackles would go up, or was he more of a get-along type guy?
He's more of a get-along type guy. Don't get me wrong. Now, if something happened, he'll defend himself, but I knew right then in that video that wasn't Nolan.
One of the theories is that that he was drinking and that there was a riptide that day and that maybe he got caught in a bad current out there. Knowing him as an athlete, and we've heard that he did know how to swim, would that surprise you if he ended up in that situation?
I mean, it would surprise me, that happened, but like I said, man, I'm just waiting till the family, give out, details of what they done gathered.
Was there racial tension at this school?
No, I don't think it was no racial intention at the school, from my experience, because you have, predominant white school, you have black kids there, and they all, played and grew up together and got along. Now, some stuff might have happened that I didn't see, so, I can't speak wholeheartedly on it, but from what I did see, it was a tight-knit community, you know what I mean?
Let me tell you something, family. Sometimes it's not sometimes, oftentimes, when a white person strokes your check, you're compromised when it comes to race relations, because you can only say so much. He already said that he works in a predominantly white neighborhood. I mean, he works at a predominantly white school. That means that a white person likely cuts his check. At the very least, he has to work around a lot of white people, a lot of white teachers, right? And even coaches. he don't want to cause no waves by, I don't know, being honest, because it ain't no way that there's not racial tensions at that school. Every single school that is predominantly white has race issues if they have other people that go to that school. It's unavoidable, because there's always those who go to the school who think that, this would be somebody good to bully and kick around. This would be a good punching bag for me to, kind of like get my superiority on, I don't believe him for one bit. And this is not just speculation. This is backed up by many people who have said that Ocean Springs High School, the school that Nolan attended before he went on to college, had race issues. Yeah. They also had a situation where a kid was violated by a school bus driver. And then they had some other sexual allegations where youngsters were abused by a teacher. But they also have racial tensions at that school. So Tracy trying to downplay it, trying to act like it ain't that big of a deal. But I think that's dangerous. I got it. You want to keep the peace. I got it. You got your coworkers and all of that stuff out there. But I think it's very dangerous when you try to put a muzzle on the truth. You can get these kids killed out here. You got to let them know what's really going on. There may be an unsuspecting parent out there who's thinking about sending their kid to the school. Now, they go up in the school thinking, oh, the coach said it was all good. He's never seen anything like that. Everybody pretty much get along and da-da-da. So next thing you know, they bring their kid to the school, and their kid is out, I don't know, maybe boating, and disappears. It happens. We know it happens. So him saying that Nolan probably, if something happened to him, it more likely it was not racial, because that's what he was suggesting, that if something happened to him, he don't think that race had anything to do with it. That is what he's essentially saying. He also said that Nolan was not in that video where you saw the kids yelling and it looked like a fight might be brewing, right? So he's saying that that wasn't Nolan. What I want to know is, how does he know that when the parents don't even know that? How can he know that for certain if the parents don't even know? And one birthed him, one planted the seed, and they raised him. So if they don't know, how do you know? I pretty much think the coach is compromised. I know some of y'all don't want to hear that, and y'all think that's negative. But why do we have to try to be so, I don't know, why do we have to speak about these issues with kids' clubs? This is one of the reasons why so many of our kids get hurt, because we're so overprotective, that we won't even give them the information to protect themselves. We keep forgetting that we can't be with them all the time. So that means that you have to give your kids the information so that they can protect themselves when you're not around. Now, I get it if you give them the information and they don't use it, but at least give them the information. You can't be that damn afraid. And if you are a parent to these kids, that is your number one job on this planet, is to protect your child. That's what you're supposed to do. So you got to give them the information. I'm not feeling the coach at all. I think that he was beating around the bush. He was playing double dutch with the facts. Yeah, you know, and I don't even see why they interviewed him, because he really didn't give any information. He really didn't tell us anything that we hadn't already heard. What's the whole point of interviewing him if he's not going to be forthcoming with the truth? I think the dude was laid back. He was way too laid back. He was way too reserved. If he knew anything, I doubt he would even say anything publicly, because there are people out there that's like that. They can be sitting on some information. They won't say anything because, hey, he got to go back in those hallways. He got to walk through those corridors on tomorrow and deal with these people who are going to be looking upside his head. Yeah, we saw you on TMZ. We heard what you said about race relations over here. We didn't like that. Next thing you know, he's going to have problems. But this buys him some more time. He's going to have problems anyway. A black coach at a predominantly white school, he's going to always have some issues. But if he was to speak out affirmatively about some type of conflict that the kids are having, some type of racial conflict, oh, he's absolutely going to have some problems. They will target him, and he knows that. So I think that the coach is really just was trying to keep his job. But I could be wrong, man. That's why I got y'all, fam. What say you? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.